Hello, my name is David Spelier. I am 23 years old and I'm a student communication. I'm speaking with the manager of the KNVB. The KNVB is the Dutch Football Federation. The subject of the interview is women in leadership. And we discuss the subject women in leadership and we talk about the similarities and the differences between male and female managers. My research question is, what is the difference between male and female leadership? This interview will be used in the classroom and I don't publish it in the media. And this interview will be recorded by my phone. Alright, the first question. Can you tell me something about yourself?
Yes, of course. My name is Margit van Zon. I'm 37 years old. I am the manager of the Women Football League, which I love doing, by the way. I was always very enthusiastic about sports when I was younger. When I went to high school, I always loved to join gym classes, and then especially the team sports, not football in particular, but everything that had to do with a team. After this, I went to how do you call it? After high school, you go to
College?
MBO. Well, I went studying, and I specialized in sports, so I had to do activities and arrange all activities for young kids.
Right.
And after that, I went to university where I studied leadership and management.
Yeah.
So that was my starting point. And after a while, I get to know someone within the KNVB, and I heard there was a position free for managing the Women Football League. So I went there and I talked with them, and finally I got the job. So I'm now managing there for, I think, almost 6 years now.
Okay, alright. I already said that the KNVB is a Dutch Football Federation. Can you tell me something more about the KNVB?
Yeah. The KNVB organizes the main Dutch football leagues. So you can think about Eredivisie or Eerste Divisie, First Division. Also the amateur leagues, the KNVB Cup, and let me see, the country national teams, and most notably for men and women. And then I am working at the Women's Football League.
Alright, you told me that you were fascinated with sport. Was that your main reason to choose for working at KNVB?
Yes, for the main part it was, because the KNVB is a really sportive a company, and because of that I wanted to work there. I wanted to combine my managing skills together with my passion for sports, and team sports in particular. So yeah, it was the main reason for me to go to the KNVB. And besides that, the KNVB is such a big name, it's such a big player. Everyone has heard about it, knows what it is, what it does. So it is amazing to work for this company, yes.
All right, and the subject is of course female leadership.
Mm-hmm.
How's the composition of men and women within the KNVB?
Difficult question. I mean, men and women leadership, it's always something people talk about nowadays. They say men earn more money than women, or that kind of stuff. Do you know about those discussions?
I heard of it. Yeah.
So if we're talking about the position of men and women within the KNVB, I think they are equal. There are more men working within KNVB, but I don't think that they have a higher position or that they feel more powerful. The football league is a men's sport. I think that's a fact. But that doesn't mean that there's no place for women there. And I get all the space and opportunities, the same opportunities men get within the KNVB. So I think they are the same, the position.
All right. And why do you think that more men works at the KNVB compared with women? You already said that it was a men's sport, but
Yeah. Well, if you look at the supporters, most of all supporters that go to football matches are men. Men's football is better known than women's football. Men football players are famous all over the world,
yeah,
where women are not actually. I wish they were, but they aren't. So there you can see difference.
yeah,
And if you go to the amateur leagues, there are more guys playing football than girls.
yeah,
So in that case, I think it's a more men's sport. And even on the work floor,
yeah.
there are more men around on the higher positions. So it's just something that I see every day.
Yeah. And do you think that it will change the difference between men and women?
Well, over the years, when the KNVB just started,
Yeah,
there were more men working there than women.
yeah,
It still is, but the difference is becoming more equal. The percentage of men and women working is almost 50-50. So yeah, I do think it's changing.
yeah,
Women are going to school nowadays. They are studying. They also want to have a career. It's not only the men anymore.
yeah,
And besides, there are women football teams. So the possibility is there.
yeah,
So if women wants to go and have the same function, for example, as I have, managing the female football league,
yeah.
it is possible, yes.
All right. I read in an article called "Do Men's and Women's Worldview Differ?" that women are more caring. They find it more important that they have a good relationship with employees. Do you agree that, or do you have a complete change of opinion?
And you mean with my colleagues?
Yeah, yeah, and with your employees and.
Okay. Well, I actually am a person who like to have a very good relationship with all my coworkers.
Yeah.
I don't really like to be the bad guy or to punish or to confront people if they do something wrong. I think it's really important to have a good working atmosphere at the work floor. So I think that's my main concern, because when you have a good work atmosphere and everyone has a good time, feels comfortable, has a feeling that they are doing a good job,
Yeah.
The product they have to deliver in the end, so the results they are giving are better as well. So when the atmosphere is okay, they will work good as well. I think that goes together.
All right. And what do you think about? They already said that a good relationship is more important than doing a good job. What do you think about that?
It's not only a good relationship or doing a good job. I think it's both. But if you make sure that there is a good environment and you have a good relationship with your employees,
Yeah.
then they are doing a good job as well, because they feel comfortable on the work floor. So it goes together. I'm not sure. Well, if you ask my boss, I think he would say that they have to do a good job.
Yeah.
But then it's my job to make them work very hard. And if I think what should be would be the best way to make them work hard, I think it is by creating a good work atmosphere. So yes, I would definitely pay more attention about creating a good relationship
Yeah.
than delivering a product. Go for just the results. It's a combination.
All right. And what do you think are the best qualities of a female leader compared with a male leader?
The best qualities of a
Of the best
female
quality? What do you think female do better compared with a male leader?
Well, I think it has to do with the caring as well. I I know what goes on in the heads of my employees. I know a bit about their hobbies, about what they're doing in their free time. I have more personal relationship with them as well. I'm not only their boss or their colleague. They just see at work. And I think if you know your staff on a more personal ground, that is positive for the work relationship. And if I'm looking at my male colleagues, managing colleagues,
Yeah.
they are more looking at the results. They just, it's only, they're only talking about business.
Yeah.
If they have already done their jobs and that kind of stuff. So I think if I'm just looking at myself and my colleagues at the KNVB, I think that I'm just more caring, yes.
Right. And what are what's the weakness of a female leader compared with a male leader?
Because I'm caring,
Yeah.
on the other hand, I'm not that tough. As I already said, I don't really like to punish people or say that they have to work harder or just get the attitude of a boss.
Yeah.
And I think that could be a bit difficult because if you are not allowed or not able to be a bit more strict or tough as my male colleagues are,
Yeah.
Sometimes they might think, she will forgive me, it's okay, I can talk a bit longer, it doesn't matter, she's all about the good sphere at work, so maybe that's not a good thing about my female leadership. You understand?
Yeah, I understand. Do you think that is the most important difference between female leadership and male leadership? Caring and or being at working at the result?
Well, I also think that there is another point. It is changing a bit, but if you have children, I have children.
Yeah.
And I am not working full time. And most of my men colleagues do work full time, even though they have children as well.
Yeah.
So I think as a woman, if you want to be in a managing position or you have a leadership, women combine their personal life with raising children, loving their husband, householding, and they also have a career, while men most of the time only spend time at their career. And I think that is also a big difference. Maybe just because women are better at multitasking or doing more jobs in the same time. I'm not sure. But that is a difference. Yes, men can go for their career 100%. And for women, I think that's harder.
All right. You told me that you were very caring in approach with employees.
Mm-hmm.
And do you have other things you do to approach with employees? Did you talk with them more than men do, for example?
Well, besides the standard talks, how they function, and the meetings, that kind of things.
Yeah.
I also like to arrange a bit of a gathering with drinks and that kind of thing. Just have a good time. Twice a year I arrange this. We go to a good restaurant, have a talk. So that's something extra I do.
All right. You already told us that football is a man's world.
Mm-hmm.
Was it difficult for you to in the first weeks to work there?
No, not really. But maybe that's because I'm not a girly girl. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, yeah.
I'm not shy, and if I think I'm right, I will say it, and I will stand up for myself. I think that's important within a man's world. But on the other hand, I started around 6 years ago, and in that time, a lot of other women are also working. So it was not really or very new for people at the KNVB. So I was not the first woman working here. So it's not that abstract. But I think if you're really shy and you do not dare to say what's on your mind or what do you think is right, then you can have a hard time. But I did not have a hard time at all. No, I just really liked it here.
All right. Now, previously it was only the men who watched football and played football themselves. Nowadays, more and more women are interested in football. Do you think female leadership and more women are interested in football? Can you combine that, or can you compare with that? What do you think about that? Is that similar to each other?
And what do you mean? What is similar?
That women in leadership gain ground, so they get better jobs. And can you combine it with that more women are interested in sports, in football? Is there any similarity between these two?
I'm not sure. I do think that it was a myth that only men would play football. And nowadays, women play football as well. It's not a taboo anymore.
Yeah.
And the same goes with women working. I think 50 years ago, when I hear my mother talk, she could only go to one school, and that was learn how to do your householding. And after that, she would raise her kids. Look, 50 years later, I am managing a football team, a female football team. So, a league. How that's a big change.
Yeah.
So, there can be a possibility that in 10 or 20 years from now, more women will be playing football. But on the other hand, women are different from men, not only how they would lead, but also physical.
Yeah.
It's I think it's really hard to say, but in the end, men are physical stronger than women. And if you look at a football game and you compare men with women, the game of men looks different. It goes faster, it goes stronger, they have sharper moves. And that's something, we can work at that as a women, but I don't think it will be ever as sharp as men can play the game. So at that point, I don't think that it will grow as fast as women in leadership. But the enthusiasm for women to play football, that can grow, yes.
All right.
Is that a bit, give that an answer to your question?
Yes, it's clear, you told me that there are more men working at the KNVB compared with female. Do you think there will be a big change in the next 10 years with that with more that there are more female working after 10 years, they will work more female than men, or?
I don't know, but I'm not sure if there's going to be a difference, if that would only be at the KNVB, but at all kinds of organizations or businesses. Because if women want to work at higher positions, there has to be an opportunity for them, and that does not only lie at the companies itself, but also at the government, for example. Or can they bring their children to childcare? So other arrangements has to be made to make it possible for women to work more. And if the government would make that possible, then I would say yes. I think that there will be more women on higher or more difficult, more managing functions than they are now. Yes.
All right. Do you think men and female managements differ in how they reach the top? Is it harder for women to reach the top than men?
Well, when I hear people talk about this subject, they would almost always say yes, it's harder for women to reach the top than for men. I'm not sure why. I haven't experienced it myself, thank God.
Yeah.
I think if you are going to reach the top, has more to do, first of all, with how you're functioning yourself. What do you expect from it? How hard are you willing to work for it?
Yeah.
And on the other hand, I think it's also really important is what kind of connections do you have? Do you already have people working at the place you would love to work? Are you from a family with people who have high managing or directing functions? Or are you from a family who actually never worked or didn't study? I think that has to do with it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. The KNVB is working with UEFA and the FIFA. And do you notice differences in other countries or cultures? How people feel about women in leadership?
Well, especially with very big arrangements games, matches.
Yeah.
With other cultures, sometimes I see a difference. Yeah, there are more men working than women. I mean, the Netherlands, it's a Western country, and it's normal here that women work, also on higher positions. But not every country has this as well. So when I go, for example, in Africa, not everyone there, not every woman is working. So it's more the men I'm dealing with then. Yeah, I definitely see difference.
And do you think it will change in the next 10 years? Or?
I hope so. But I'm not sure. That also has to depend. It's depending on other things, because how can you change a culture over there, or how can we manage to let more women work, because they don't have childcare like we have.
Yeah.
They really have to stay home and feed the children, and the man goes and work. So that's a bit harder to reach.
All right. Do you think that workplaces with women, with many women, run differently than workplaces with a lot of women?
Can you repeat the question?
Do you think that workplaces with many women run differently than that you have workplaces with a lot of women and many men?
Not a lot of women, you mean?
I mean, workplaces with not many women run differently with than workplaces with a lot of women.
Oh, right, I know what you mean, yeah. Yes, I really think there's different. I've experienced it myself. Before I went to the KNVB, and at the KNVB there are a lot of men working.
Yeah.
I worked at a female shelter. It was something I did in between, but and that was run only by women.
Yeah.
And the atmosphere around there is so different. And the main thing I found was different is the way they discuss a subject. When you are with men, it's like there is a situation and there are three options. You can do A, B, or C. You talk about it 5 minutes. Okay, we go for option B.
Yeah.
When you only talk with women, first you're going to discuss the whole situation. You're going to look at it at several points, and everyone has to say something. And when everybody is done talking, we are going to look at the options. And there are not only 3 options, no, there are 10 options. So it takes so much more time to make a decision. So I think that's a big difference.
Do you think that is a better way of doing it, or do you prefer the man's way?
I think I would like a combination of the two, because women are very thorough, but men are really fast and they just they cut to the chase and they make a decision. Women take too much time, and men go a bit too fast. So I think men and women in one team would be a perfect combination.
All right. I read an article called "The Gender and Leadership Wars," and in the article they talk about that employees look differently to a female leader compared with a male leader. What do you think of that?
I can imagine. I think it depends on the company. Well, let's take KNVB for example. If you are, if a woman is a director, for example, and there are a lot of women men working there.
Yeah.
They would look different at a woman than if it would be a man, I think. It depends how the director would talk with them or lead them.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. It's just a feeling. I would feel different if there would be a man or if there would be a woman above me. I'm not sure why. It's just a feeling.
And what do you prefer? Man or female leader?
A female, of course.
And why, if I may ask?
Because I'm one, and I think women are perfectly capable of leading. It's not only men who can do that, and I think it's important for women to prove that to society or to men or to big businesses that women are able to do that in a perfect way. So that's why I would say I would prefer a woman.
All right. And the last question, did they look different to you when your employees saw you at the first time? Or?
I didn't notice it. No, I don't know. I don't think so. I hope not. I just, from the beginning, I was just being me. I was myself. And a caring person, trying to talk with my employees, trying to know what goes on in their head. They can be honest with me, and I've never heard them talk about that subject, and I never got a feeling that they looked at me with different eyes because I am a woman. So no, I didn't notice it at all. No.
All right. Now I want to thank you for this interview.
All right.
When I'm finished with writing the research report, I will send it to you.
Oh, perfect. That would be nice. I'm really interested in what you're going to write.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.